Since we have done in the creation of the world in Chinese mythology, now let's move forward to the gods and goddesses of the Chinese folklore and mythology. Okay, okay, gods and goddesses. There were over 200 gods and goddesses worshipped throughout ancient China, but if one were to count every deity or spirit, the number would be over 1,000. Oh, imagine 1,000. Each town, village, city, field, farm, and sometimes even separate plot in a graveyard has its own Tudigong or gods, an elemental earth spirit who was recognized and honored. There were also spirits known as Koishin, nature spirits who might inhabit a tree of or live by a stream or preside over a garden. In China, there are so many gods and goddesses in the earth or the spirit they recognized and honored in 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 the earth where they living where are we are living, but we're not, since we are not Chinese, we don't notice them, but they have also their own gods and goddesses like us. We have our own gods and goddesses, so his Bathala in Philippines, yeah, the creator, like that. But let's go to these were eternal spirits who had never been mortal but others, known as a gi or kill gi ki. I don't know how to read it, but to pronounce it properly because it's hard for me. But I will try. Ki, I think it's ki or koi, goi or ki. I don't know how to pronounce it properly since I'm not really good in Chinese pronunciation. All I know was shishi, konnichiwa, all that. Okay, had once been human beings who had died and passed on to the afterlife. The Gi could return to hunt the living for various reasons, and ritual spells and religions practices developed to appease them. There were also deities who had once been mortal and now live with the gods. Okay, imagine. Such as the Bashan or Passion, the eight immortals of holy toys who were rewarded by the goddess Queen Mother of the West with immortality, si Bashan or Fashan. The Bashan or the Fashan were prayed to like any of the other gods, as were one's ancestors who had passed over the bridge between the land of the living and realm of the dead to live among the gods and watch over the living. He was the first god who is with the queen mother who is rewarded by the queen mother of the west with immortality. Okay, let's move forward to the next slide. I'm sorry. Okay, here Chang flees to the moon. Okay, in this in this topic, or in the gods and goddesses, he is Chang flees to the moon. Okay, I will read it and I will explain it. Okay, the gods were believed to have created the world and human beings, and they keep the world and surrounding universe functioning. Each deity had her own special area of power and influence, and the most important were given their own shrines and temples. All those shrines were also elected to local spirit and to noblemen and women who became deified after death. Okay, those who is whose gods and goddesses after life or after death, They are going to have their own shrines and temples, although shrines were also erected to local spirits and to noble men and women who became deified after death. So they are going to defy after death. They are going to the place where they belong, like that. Okay. These deities live in the palace and castles high above human beings in places like the Conlon Mountains, Mount Tai Jade Mountain, and Mount Pinglai, which was the mystical island of the afterlife, somewhere far out at sea. It means after the deities or the spirit was living in the mountains or in the sea, the island afterlife. Okay, even though they were far away, they were still connected to human life on a daily basis, watching over and keeping account of the good and bad deeds people did. Each of the deities had their own part to play in the lives of people and the operation of the world, from the most intimate moments to events of national importance such as dynasty collapse. For example, they are voting for the new king, or they are throne the new king. Then those deities or those gods and goddesses are they are always there watching their people, or who believes in them, even though those bad people who don't believe in them. Okay, all of gods and goddesses and spirits were important to the people of ancient China and remain so today. And in selecting a certain small group leaves out many others who remain just as significant. However, one can single out those deities who had the national prominence, are among the oldest, or are without question the most popular, as shown through ancient writings and evidence from archaeological excavations. The gods and goddesses listed below are given in the order they appear in Chinese writings. Most likely, deities like Noah, Foshi, and Pianco were recognized much earlier than written records indicate, and the same is probably true of of the most where am I sorry most of the gods and goddesses on the list. These deities are selected because they were all very important to the people of ancient China, like Pianco, Foshi, and Noah, because they are the very important in ancient China. Even though some were more prominent at certain times in history than others, because they are what they call that, they give an important those gods and goddesses like Noah, Pangu, and Fushi has an important role in ancient China, because they are the gods and goddesses who create and who is the origin of the legends of their country, or like that. Okay, next. I think that would be all, and I hope you understand my report, even though there's a lot of sound in my background, because it is raining, and there's an animal who is always and I hope you will understand, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.